So you've been told to rotate. So then you rotate, and you rotate a lot. And somehow you feel slower, wobblier, and much more out of control than before. And let me tell you something, that's not a fitness problem, that's an over-rotation problem. In this video, you'll learn the 4 over-rotation mistakes that are quietly wrecking your freestyle, and exactly how to fix each one. Hi, I'm Alex Coci. I'm a former Olympic swimmer. I spent the last 10 years coaching swimmers that have gone through this thing. Mistake number 3 is the one that most of the swimmers feel off balance on every single stroke, and the one that nobody really catches on their own. And by the end of this video, you'll swim smooth with controlled rotation, clean lines, less drag, and actually going somewhere. Now just a quick one, if you want a personal feedback on your stroke, then join my Ocean Swim School, link in the description, free to start. Now let's get into the mistake number 1. So mistake number 1 is that your body is rolling too far. Now watch me here how I over-rotate every single stroke. I tip onto the side almost on my back, and almost trying to look at the sky or at the ceiling. The hips are swinging wide, the arm crosses the center line, and instead of moving forward, I'm actually moving sideways. And this happens because the cue everyone hears is rotate from the hips. Now don't get me wrong, that's a really good cue, but no one says how much, or at least they're not that specific. So swimmers assume that more rotation equals more power. Logical, right? Wrong. This is exactly like trying to sprint by swinging your arms across the body as much as possible. What's gonna happen? You're gonna lurch from side to side. You're actually going to slow down. So swimming is the same. So the target here is 45 degrees, and that's it. Not 60, not 90, but 45 degrees. So rotate just enough to slice through the water and not enough to stare at the ceiling. Now let's practice this on land first. So stand up, arms by your side, tilt the whole body slightly to one side. Now let's say that your face rests at 12 o'clock. Now you're going from 12 o'clock to about 10 or 2 o'clock, and that's it. Now here, if you've gone past 9 or 3, that means you're going way too far. Now do you feel like you're still mostly facing forward? And that's the exact position you want in the pool, just horizontal, of course. Now in the water, swim one length and count how many times you tip past your 45 degrees point. And one of the cues that might help you, make sure that you rotate to slice, not to roll over. Most swimmers here will drop 3 to 4 strokes per length within the first session of doing this drill. Less rotation, actually more efficient in this case. And now if that felt good, wait until you see what happens whenever you rotate has no power behind it at all. Now mistake number 2, you're rotating from the wrong place. And this is making everything harder than it needs to be. Now here is what it actually looks like. The arm exits the water and the whole upper body twists first. Shoulders are leading, then hips follow late, or not even following at all. It feels choppy, almost mechanical, like the top and the bottom of your body are 2 different swimmers. And it all makes sense that you're actually using your shoulders, because that's where the pull is actually happening. Your arm exits the water, then your shoulder lifts, and that lift actually feels like a rotation, but it's not. And that's your shoulder basically just going up. Now think of it a bit like boxing. So you're trying to throw a real punch. A bad one just comes from the arm, but a good punch actually starts from the hip, and the hips rotate first and everything else follows. Now swimming works the same way. So basically you need to initiate the whole rotation from the hips, and that hip drop drives the rotation. So the shoulder just follows. So hip first and then shoulder in that order every single time. On land, let's practice this. Stand with your arm slightly out in front, like you're holding a steering wheel. Now, without moving your shoulders at all, twist from your hips to one side. Now, do you feel how your shoulders eventually follow, but they didn't actually start it? Now, that delay, that sequence, the hip, shoulder is what actually you're trying to build. In the pool, try single hand freestyle with the kickboard in the other hand. So focus here only where the rotation starts. It starts at the hip every single stroke. Then do 425s thinking about nothing else. I'm working right now with the master swimmers, 45 to 49 age group. Once we fix this, her average pace dropped by 4 seconds per 100 meters just within few sessions. Not from fitness change, but just from the rotation and where it started. Now, if you also want to transform your swimming even further, then check out my complete resource in the description down below. Now let's move on into the mistake number 3. Your breathing side rotation is actually ruining the rest of your stroke every single breath. Now let me give you an example. The swimmers goes to breathe, but doesn't rotate enough to get the mouth clear. So they rotate all the way. Head comes way up, sometimes the whole face out of the water. And what happened is that the body tips, the hips drop, the leg sinks, and so on. That one breath actually cost them 3 strokes of momentum. Now this is basically whenever you're trying to reverse your car, so instead of actually looking at the mirrors, you're turning your whole body to try to drive in reverse. Instead of you just looking with your eyes in the mirror, that information you needed was available with just a small movement without making a huge one. Basically, just keep one goggle in and one goggle out of the water, and that's the rule for the breathing. Now just make sure that you rotate enough so half of your face clears the water. Your mouth should get air and the other eye stays underwater. You don't need to see the ceiling or the sky of the pool whenever you want to breathe. But first, let's try to do this on land. So stand up and tilt your head to one side. Here, you're trying to feel like you're resting your ear on the shoulder. Now tilt just a little more, that your mouth is above the imaginary waterline. And that's the movement. Not a full body roll, but a small and controlled tilt. Now in the water, swim single arm with a non-breathing arm at your side. Every other stroke, practice one breath. One goggle in, one goggle out. 425s, breathing every single stroke on that side. Swimmers who fix this one specific thing often say this thing: I can feel calmer in the water. And I'm starting to think, oh, I wonder why. Now most swimmers will actually reduce their stroke count by 20 to 30% per length just by stopping the panic breath. Okay, that one was about over-rotating to breathe. But this last mistake is about rotating at completely wrong time. So mistake number 4 is that your rotation is happening at the wrong moment. The stroke feels fine and the timing is broken. Some swimmers rotate even before their catch is set, already turning while their hand is still entering in the water. Now others rotate too late, they complete the pull flat, and they even try to rotate after. Now either way, the rotation doesn't do any work. It just happens near the stroke, but it's not actually connected to it. So no one really teaches timing explicitly. You hear rotate and then pull as 2 separate instructions. So swimmers do them separately, of course, when they actually should be doing just one movement locked together. The rotation and the pull actually happens together. So as your hand passes your shoulder during the pull, that's exactly when your hips drop. Not before, but not after. At that moment, whenever you pull and rotate as one unit. Here, the fix actually starts on land. So lie with your face down on the mat, extend one arm forward. Now as you pull that arm past your shoulder, let the hip drop towards the pool floor simultaneously. Now do you feel how those movements actually reinforce each other? The synchronization is exactly what you're actually trying to build. Now in the pool, try to swim way slower than you actually think you need to. Every stroke you do, ask yourself, when does the pull start and when does the hip drop? And if you can answer that in real time while you're swimming, that means you've got it. Do 625s, controlled. Now most swimmers who actually fix the timing gain about 2 to 3 seconds per 25 meters immediately. Not from fitness, but just from the pull and the rotation and finally working as one unit connected movement. Now the reason why I make this kind of videos is because some of you are asking me this kind of questions, and these are some common issues that some of you might face. Now let me give you some of them. Alex, I try to hold 45 degrees, but I can't feel where I am. And what do you need here is that you actually need to film yourself. From the side with a phone does the job. One session of a video footage will actually tell you more than 10 sessions of gassing. My breathing side and my non-breathing side feels completely different. And let me tell you something that's actually normal. And basically the way you fix it is that you need to drill your weaker side on a ratio 2:1 until you even them out. I fixed my rotation, but now my catch feels off. Now good catch, they're actually connected. So whenever the rotation changes, your entry angle changes too. Give it about 2 to 3 sessions to actually recalibrate. My hips still drop whenever I breathe, even with less head rotation. Now basically what you need to do here is actually to check your kick, because a weak kick cannot hold the hips during the breathing rotation. So basically you need to stay active throughout the breath. I get it on dry land, but I lose it in the moment I get in the water. What you need to do is you need to slow down, way down. Speed hides some of the mistakes. Now here is what changes if you actually clean this up. Your stroke gets longer, not because you're trying to reach more, but because your body is actually feeling connected. Your hips stop fighting the water and they start working with it, and you'll cover the same distance using noticeably less energy, probably within 2 to 3 weeks if you're actually in the pool 2 to 3 times per week. 45-minute sessions at the minimum, with a structured practice, of course. And I've seen this transformation hundreds of times before and multiple times currently. Swimmers stuck at the same pace for months and sometimes years if you don't change anything. Now picture yourself next week. You push off the wall, your first stroke actually feels different, controlled and balanced. The rotation is there, but it's clean. You're not lurching, you're not taping, you are actually cutting through the water. And at the end of the lane, you're actually not gasping and you want to actually even go further. And that's exactly what a 45 degrees control rotation does. Now, if you want me to actually watch your stroke and tell you which of these is costing you the most, join my Ocean Swim School, link in the description down below. It's free to start, you get a community access, you get different free resources as well. See if it's useful. Drop a comment, tell me which of the mistakes is the hardest. I read every single comment. And if this thing helped you, like and subscribe. See you in the next one.